So,
She's like, no, I'm not, I'm not gonna do this.
Not yet.
I will, go read the minutes you said.
yes,
I'll move both sets of minutes together.
sure. A second? Thank you, Toby.
Kristen moves, Toby seconds.
Thank you, Toby, I forgot.
We called it to order at 7,
I didn't say that.
but it was before the recording turned on.
There we go. All right, are there any amendments or adjustments to the minutes before we vote?
There was just a couple of spelling errors.
Okay,
Do you want me to tell you where they are?
sure, because then we'll capture them.
Fielding's last name,
Hey,
I think it was.
what's he looking out for me?
And
Amanda's name.
Amanda's name.
That's it, all right. So with those spelling corrections, all those in favor? Everybody has their hands up, so it's Jim? And abstaining, Jim is abstaining.
We have two new people joining us.
Okay.
Looks like Jeff's with us and NS.
Jeff and Ennis, all right.
And Madam Chair, if I could, I'd like to have a very brief public comment, which
Go
is,
ahead.
my name's Rich Brown. I regularly videotape various public meetings, and so I am sending a link to the playlist for all the school board meetings. That I'll send that to Mary Beth. So, that's it. They'll be on YouTube real soon now. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, awesome.
And do we want to know, we'll put that link in our meeting minutes.
As well.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Good.
they are accessible.
And that's, just to get it out of the recording, Jeff Tomlinson is remote now?
Correct,
I'm assuming that Jeff is Jeff Tomlinson.
and I don't know what NS
Then
stands
it's
for.
Nikki Snyder.
Nikki Snyder?
That would be my guess.
Okay.
Is she giving you a thumbs up?
Well, she's not visual, so I
Oh,
can't
right.
tell.
Well, whoever you are, you want.
Whoever, all right. Superintendent's report?
Yes, I have a couple of items for you this evening. And actually, before I do that, we had spoken about just moving up
Oh, right.
the fiscal year
That's right.
26 report. Janet has had quite a week.
So
And if
we're,
we could let Janet go after that, that would be
no,
wonderful.
why don't we do that? That's,
Elizabeth, can you hear me?
yes? Jeff,
Yeah, Jeff, we can hear you.
we can hear you. So what,
We could.
so what Mary Beth is asking is moving the finance and operations item number 5 in, to come
5B.
before,
Yeah.
5B to come before 2, so go for it.
Oh, right now?
Yep.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You're on.
Okay. So I just have a couple of things. So we had some additional revenue. We did get the scholarship income that we get annually from the town, so that did come in. So it increased our local general fund revenue from like $100 to $7,907.87. So I just wanted to mention that. Some of the grant money has not been realized yet on my revenue report. The IDAB grant ending in 4449, the claims have been put in, but we have not received the funds.
But we anticipate those will come in,
Yeah.
no issue.
Yep. As far as the expenditure side, we had a student, we got a refund from Dresden. One of the students graduated early, and so they gave us a tuition refund. So our money that we would be drawing from trust right now is at $57,443.63. That's our deficit in that line. And our overall deficit, and this is projected, of course, to the general fund is a negative $85,978. I can't say the pennies anymore. I'm just gonna go with the dollars. If everybody's good with that, my brain goes, pennies. Okay. So right now, we're looking at in the general fund, 85,978 of a deficit. Two transfers from trusts, one the high school trust at 57,443, and a special ed trust of 75,000, which will bring us to 100, those two together are 132,443. And we have general fund anticipated revenue of 7907, which gives us a projected balance of a positive 54,373. We still have open purchase orders that were included in this, so our budget, overall budget is overspent because some of it's last year's money of 90,448, which will give us a positive fund balance of 144,821.
So currently, we're in the black,
Right,
by about 50,000. We are continuing to monitor that carefully. We continue to have some unanticipated, legal costs that may impact that. But right now, we are looking to, be able to end the year in the black.
things are starting to wrap up a little bit, I'm starting to close out purchase orders as I pay the payables. So that always makes it easier, is when those things are closed and funds will be released as purchase orders close.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't remember last month, and I should get to that, but, is this an increase out of the special education trust from what we anticipated last time? I didn't remember 75,000.
I don't think,
That's what we had
Was?
voted,
Okay.
at the last meeting.
Okay,
That was the amount,
that's fine, I just wanted,
yeah.
so we're still on target with that account, with that trust, and our high school trust will now be in.
We'll actually tap less
Yeah.
there than we had
we
anticipated.
had
As much as we
anticipated, I
try and
think,
tap that down, we
60,000.
never
I
can
know,
get it
it's hard. You wouldn't think it would be difficult, but you never know, because the kids come and go during the year, so it definitely has impact.
Rather be conservative. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Is that the whole of it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, because we're still in the not quite done yet. We're in the not quite done phase, but getting closer every day.
Yes,
Yeah,
the finish line is in sight,
Right,
right?
It's inside. Well, thank you.
yeah,
And
thanks.
enjoy some newfound time.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever way you do it, Janet.
Thanks a lot.
All right, so let's
back
move
to-
back to item 2, the superintendent's report. Oh,
The
sorry,
next one, people online is that they can't hear.
they can't hear, all right, sorry.
At all, or just faint?
This is, I don't think people can hear the board. I still have a red light on this side, but the
Yeah.
owl.
Thank you. Because we did hear her.
You're trying not to be responsible.
Thank you.
Bye, Janet.
Bye. Thanks.
Check down here and go to, let's see, test owl selected. Meeting now.
Select speaker.
Stephanie muted them. Is it this account muted maybe?
It's
No,
weird
go
because it was on
is fine.
originally,
Yeah, we heard Jeff.
because we heard Jeff speak.
Good
Right,
to
but
hear
it's
us.
them not hearing us.
Oh, maybe that's what Jeff was saying.
But he would have messaged Mary Beth or somebody.
It's definitely this, I wonder if the plug's not. I'm gonna flip everybody upside down.
They can't
Sorry
hear
about
you.
that.
No, they can
see
the
the
visual though.
Oh, Jeff's on twice now. Maybe he's trying to connect as he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we would have should we shut the owl off and turn it back on?
You can try, it's very temperamental.
It is temperamental when you lose it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that,
Yeah, me
but,
too. The only other way we can do it is run it through the laptop, but then it's gonna make it sound, the sound will be tough. We can try it, I mean, what are we gonna lose? It's not working out.
Oh, I got it, wait a minute, something's blinking, I'm taking something, you know? I had a blue light for a moment.
Is that a physical button on the side of the owl?
These, yes, and I pressed them both, I didn't press them together.
But when you test the,
It worked for finance committee. I don't know what happened in between.
Yeah, let me, I'm just gonna see if I can.
Meeting owl, go to this
that's,
one.
yeah, this
Try
one.
that one instead, instead of default,
Yeah,
and then go to meeting owl there.
yep, hang on.
Can somebody let us know if they can hear us?
Can you hear us now? Anybody? It's still ringing. But it did get shifted, something happened and it left the meeting now.
Yes, she.
Our test speaker mic. Okay.
Click there.
Okay,
Hello.
hello, this is the issue, is
Microphone.
microphone's not
And
working.
it looks like it's
Which is-
muted from right
Wait a
here.
minute, that says headset. I know, but they spoke to headset. Still no sound,
You see
right?
who's
Right.
online? I'm just taking some
I can't say
extra
yes
notes in
because.
case.
Connie Balch,
Oh.
Jeff
But why is
Tomlinson,
it saying headset?
Lisa Dameron,
Thinks it's a-
Said that the
I'm
Headset
assuming it's
the whole
Yola Bujarski, Todd and Rebecca Maxfield, Stephanie
Right,
Kasurik,
but the problem is nobody's hearing.
And-
Somebody-
S.
Because this is muted for some
Kay
reason.
M,
The microphone on the owl.
and then Jeff T again. I think he's trying twice because he can't hear.
So maybe we need to unplug it.
You
and
could
then
unplug
reset
it, I mean, at least people could hear.
Thinking.
Alright, cause I can always have the sound come out of the, hang on. Now, Jeff, can you hear us?
Just come through there.
Oh, wait a minute.
Now, Jeff, can you hear us?
That works, yep.
Oh.
There's a delay, but I can now hear you.
Okay,
So you should
We're having it
We're-
yourself.
Yeah, let me just get back
Okay.
in
We're
there.
good.
alright, so. Can you mute yours?
She's working on
I'm
it.
working on it for her.
I can hear her.
Where is it?
I can hear her. I have all the power.
There's
Yeah,
an
use the
echo.
movie. Then let's see if we can get this back up.
I'm wondering if the owl hooked to you.
That's what I was trying to look at.
Just let him know. Just let him know.
Can we just click on your thing here, the sound,
Yeah, click on
There.
the audio.
and then you should be able to mute yourself. Sound settings. No, sound settings. There you go. Is there a mute?
So Mary Beth, you are muted and your video is muted, it's just your speakers.
Okay, so, there we go.
Alright,
Okay.
so Jeff, can you still hear us?
Thumbs up?
No, now he's not hearing us.
No.
Oh, Jeff, can you hear us now?
No, we can hear you, but there's an echo, it's repeating everything that's said.
It's still echoing? Boy.
Got no answer for you.
Oh, do you think, because I
Is
tested it on the
everyone
Lyme
muted?
computer?
Everyone is muted.
Is everything muted?
Well,
Is the
the
Lyme-
Lyme one is not, because that's how I was testing the microphone.
I wonder if we
That would only be if it's projecting, because
Just-
that's what makes the delay typically.
mute all.
You just muted your computer.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Okay. And you might wanna submit, Sarah.
So what did you do?
Just still jumping.
So Jeff, can you hear us now?
It's the same echo.
It's the same echo. Right, who's got audio on?
Is everybody online here in echo, or is it just Jeff?
Did Jeff sign in twice?
I do not hear an echo.
You do
Okay.
not hear.
Okay.
Thank you,
Jeff,
Connie.
maybe you're signed on twice. You have a Jeff T and a
Yeah,
Jeff.
you are signed on twice, Jeff.
All right,
Gotcha.
okay.
Okay,
I think we got it.
I think we can move
All
on.
right. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I'm sorry for the electronic challenges we're having. All right, so do you want to go back to the?
Just a moment,
Yes,
yes.
thank you,
She
sorry.
needs to collect yourself.
I know, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right, I just want to pull this back up here. Okay. Okay, so we should have the agenda here.
Yep.
All right, so I have 3 items tonight under the superintendent's report. The first is that I wanted to let you know that we are currently collecting kindergarten enrollment for 26-27. Yeah, there we go.
Very exciting.
Well, actually, you need to look for friends.
I hear we're
Because we're
15.
actually, right now, our current enrollment is 8 for kindergarten for next year. So I want to let you know that number is lower than it has tended to be in the past. And that's just an update as to where we are. We don't know what it will look like in September, but it is lower than it typically is at this time of year.
Supposedly, the house that just sold on Market Street has a kindergarten. I don't know if they're the 8th, because that was the late addition.
Which house?
Word on the street.
Yeah.
Great house.
So we will keep you posted on that, but I did want to make you aware that those numbers are coming in a little bit lower than anticipated. Next in the superintendent's report, we have received the letter from our LEA to begin bargaining for the 2027. So that is kind of the kickoff to the process. And once we receive that letter, then we can start talking about schedules and all of that. So the letter is included here in the agenda. And then finally, I have John's June board update that has lots of information about what's happening with the school. Again, any questions there, any clarifications that are needed, I'd be happy to answer them. I know we also have Jeff online, so I'm sure he can pop in as well.
I had one question that Jeff could probably answer on his section. N-size district meetings at the state, what?
Yes. Due to the size of Lyme and the fact that you may only have 3 students who are juniors who are taking the state exam, and one parent decides to opt them out, it looks like 33% of our students didn't make expectations, as opposed to Manchester, who has 300. And so there's a task committee set up at the state to address that and how we might be able to explain to districts how we're doing without using statistics when your sample size is too small.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the superintendent's report?
I just had a comment. I love to see the collaboration with the other districts and Dartmouth under the curriculum and instruction and assessment.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
we're really excited about that. We've been working with Hanover, and they have a partnership with Dartmouth, and so our Elise has been spending a lot of time on this project, and our teachers will have an opportunity to work with other teachers from other districts as well this summer. That's great.
I also have a comment, half the incoming kindergarten class appreciates you rescheduling the orientation into your summer break, so we can go to our Lyme freshman school graduation.
We aim to please Phil.
This is, small can also be very nimble.
Yeah.
That's right, that's right. Thank you for those. All right, new business requiring action.
So I'll just kind of reorient you to what is happening with our Hanover High School contract. If you remember, this year we had a 1-year contract. And the idea was going to be that we were going to work towards a 10-year contract. In terms of negotiating that and getting all the pieces in place, and because they need to put it on a warrant article, we determined that we were going to need to do another 1-year contract. prior to getting the 10-year. We are already talking about getting that going in September, so that we will get what we need to get done to be sure it's on the warrant article for for that year. So what you have attached, and I apologize for the delay in getting that, but I just got it from Hanover this afternoon at around 3 o'clock. But basically, it is a carbon copy of this year's contract. The tuition amount that is in there is what we have budgeted. So that is there, and what I would need from you is to approve Elizabeth signing off on this contract.
Do you take a formal vote?
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
So we need to move it first, we said.
yes, it needs to be moved.
So I'll move it,
Thank you, second, thank you,
Field in seconds.
all right.
Toby moved.
I talked to Amanda a lot, hopefully she'll bring.
All right,
I know, but let's not make it.
recognizing that this was a late entry, I don't know if anyone's had a chance to look at it.
Speed reading.
If you
right
give
now.
me
Yes.
approval, take a look at the contract, review it, if there's important questions that come up, send them, and then, I mean, it's the same contract as last year, and we can always bring everybody back together if there's real big issues with the contract.
I guess maybe, since we're speed reading, were there special points of, I mean, it's the exact same contract as last year?
Exact same.
Okay, so there was no special point of, let's hammer this out and negotiate this?
Right.
Any
We
changes like
just-
that, we'll see in the 10-year
In the
contract?
10-year
Yeah.
contract, exactly.
Okay.
Are we still, like, those discussions ongoing in terms of that 10-year?
Yes.
We're not
Yes.
kind of
Yes,
stalled
absolutely.
like that?
Yeah, no, we have been meeting regularly through the spring, and that is on our agenda to begin that conversation right at the beginning of the school year next year.
So is your goal to have, are we in the, this is just for this year, but the goal is that the warrant will be on the warrant
Or
article
will
will
be
be
Yeah.
on
May, this
next,
May
for next year.
and hopefully
Right,
the
so
next
the town of Hanover has to put on a warrant any 10-year contract. So in order to make sure that that process goes through a sequence and a timeline, we're gonna have to have that ready early next fall. And then it should hopefully be.
Oh, so it won't be this spring?
No.
No,
not
this
this
May's
year.
already gone.
No, so this
It's
is the
June now.
placeholder for next year, right? So for 1 year, for the
Kind of busy
26-27
couple
school
weeks.
year, we are just
Okay.
continuing what we have. And then in the fall, as we continue to work on this, I will eventually bring to you a 10-year contract for your approval.
And
And
then
then
it
that
will
would
go,
go
that will
on
go
to
on
the
the
warrant.
warrant article in
Yeah.
May.
Why a 10-year contract? Why not a 8-year contract, a 15-year contract?
That seemed to be the one that has been proposed in the past, so
This came up with, when the concern around open enrollment came in and making sure, because Hanover's the largest, feeder for
Mhm.
us. The interest of the board at that point was to see if we could lock in a 10-year contract. We could choose to shift it, but
Right.
that's what it was. I think any multi-year goes to a warrant. I think it's not
yeah,
just
I
10,
don't know
so-
if they have
Saying
any.
Or an 8-year
Right.
contract, could get away, could
No.
circumvent the timing of the
Right.
warrant and the work that's involved.
Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
they have a tuition committee, they've been looking at this, and this is the
Okay.
path that they have suggested to us in terms of how to best move forward.
Just for my education, how would 8 years circumvent,
Well, if the threshold was a 10-year and above
It's
contract.
multi-year,
just any multi-year?
it's
Okay.
any
So
multi,
that, can't avoid it then.
yeah. If we could have, we would have, it was a good
I was
thought,
wondering the same thing.
Well,
good
it's-
thought,
I just need a refresher on why 10 years,
Yeah.
because it just seemed like a great number, but why did we choose it?
I think that's what we've always done from the past.
I can certainly bring that question up, like, is it, is there another potential length of time that we wanna look at? Is that something that people would be interested in, or is it just 10 years
No,
feeling?
because either way,
You're always going
we're
by that
waiting for
number.
the warrant article, so
Right.
if
Yeah.
the townspeople don't approve the warrant article, they
Well,
could
and I think
potentially
there's a
move to
lot of
change the amount of
unknown.
years or the, I mean,
Right, there's
It's really
also a
an
lot of
interesting
unknown
position.
in the interest of securing our little school. I think the 10 years is a reasonable timeframe.
will it be a warrant article in and of itself, like by itself?
That's
At
my
their
That's
town
understanding.
meeting?
my
That's
understanding.
very interesting to think there's a. Okay.
There's
Well,
one
there's a,
small typo under transportation in elementary school. It's very small. Elementary school needs to be
E, capital.
capital E. Should not hold up anything in the contract.
But because it came so late, unless you feel 100% comfortable voting it, you can give me the authorization and you can read it, and if something pops up and you're really uncomfortable, I don't want anyone to feel that it's being signed and not having full comfort in the contract. You can give me the authority, and then you can just let me know if you're good or not good, and we can rally the troops however you wish.
The last time we talked about it, I came away with the assumption that this is the scenario that was gonna happen. We weren't gonna be able to get the 10-year,
Right.
we were gonna do.
Right, this
This
isn't new,
exactly,
this
yeah.
is exactly what it is.
Right.
We just didn't get the contract till
Yeah,
cleared till today.
this would be fine with me, same contract as last year. The money process is in full effect. I would vote it, or I would just tell you that way.
I move that we allow Elizabeth the authority to sign the contract with the caveat she will wait till Friday to sign the contract, so anybody with any concerns can individually email her. Do not email the entire board
Right,
to avoid quorum.
I'll second that.
Roth moves, Krantz seconds.
all right. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor? Okay, everyone has their hand up, so it's unanimous. Okay. Then, do you wanna go to the next section?
Okay. Next is a report, and some ideas about what we could be looking at for next year. As the board knows, one of the things in our strategic plan is looking at structuring of administration, and so that is being addressed here because we have another component where Janet Mitchell will be retiring at the end of next year, and we really need to be thinking about how are all of these pieces going to come together. I think we have spoken in the past that one of the concerns that I certainly have out there is the challenge that so many districts are having related to finding business administrators. And the other aspect of this piece is that there is absolutely no redundancy. So if anything happens to Janet, we have to take very good care of Janet because she oversees and is the sole source of so much of our really critical functions. So what you'll see in this proposal is related to trying to address some of those issues. I also want to say that as we're looking at this, this is a work in progress, right? I am not in a place where I can come to you and say, this is exactly what I think we should do, this is how it'll all lay out. We have been having conversations with staff, having conversations with individual administrators, been having conversations with Hanover around a lot of different ways in which we can address some of the issues that are out there. But this is an initial pass at what the conversations are at this point, to keep you in the loop. Any kind of change is hard, and I want to be as transparent as I can about what it is that we're talking about, but I fully anticipate that over the summer we're going to have ongoing conversations where, okay, we've got this solved, but we don't have that solved, and so this is a framework, but not an absolute, if that makes sense. So there are 4 primary areas of focus. The first is related to this succession planning, because we know that our business lead coordinator will be leaving at the end of next year. So one of the ways that we are addressing that is to have John Donjman, our principal, spend some time over here at the SAU office. Part of what he is able to offer is that he has really strong skill sets in managing complex databases. And as you know, this year we switched over our financial software to a new, more sophisticated, more robust system. And so John's expertise in being able to work with that, along with his knowledge of budgets and finances, is proven to be quite helpful as we look at that. And so that is happening right now, where he is helping out. We are also looking for possible ways in which we can better integrate what happens at the school and what happens in central office. So one of the things that you'll see on this proposal is to actually increase our administrative assistant at the school level to be year-round. And we are currently, because things are in flux, and we are not clear as to how all of this is eventually going to shake out, is that we are recommending that we do not fill this executive district position, because we are learning ourselves how to work the new system. John is stepping in, I am stepping in, Janet is stepping in to try to cover this while we figure it out. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what's happening at the central office right now. The next structural issue that we're looking at is that we are continuing to experience a challenge related to having a pool of viable Spanish teachers. We've had this out for a while. At this point, we do not have a viable candidate, and at some point, we're gonna have to make a decision about the structure of this program for next year as we start to build out schedules. Mo Chandler is deeply invested in this program, and she is currently feeling like she could cover the school, not for as many sections as we were able to offer with 2, but for at least this year, where we don't have a candidate pool, that she could take that on. So we are continuing to monitor that. I really want to recognize Mo Chandler for her deep commitment to this program and to the school and to being a problem solver with us. But that is another structural piece that is out there right now. Third is to look at special education and optimizing of staffing. So one of the things that we currently have, when we have a full-time special education director, that person has to have a robust knowledge of a vast amount of legal, regulatory, all different types of elements that fall under special education. For our small school, we don't often need that breadth of understanding very often. And so that, to have somebody that can look at and be our consultant go-to for specific higher level types of special education policy, we probably can get that covered by contracting that out with Hanover. And we have been engaged in conversations around doing that. It is also possible that Hanover can manage a lot of our high school pieces, not only for students in Hanover, but in some of the other districts. What does that do for us? That enables us to take our current special education director and bring him into the school more full-time. And because right now, he has to be out on lots and lots of trainings, he has to be out at, high school meetings. What this does is bring him back to the school, we can outsource the other piece. And then that gives him more time to be working directly in schools supporting students. And we have an opening for a special education position. It looks very likely that we can cover that with about 0.5 of direct student support. What that's all gonna mean, excuse me, and how that schedule's gonna work out, how much of those direct student services would come from the building coordinator role, is still a work in progress, but we're looking to move Jeff's position to be more building focused, building coordinator role. The other piece that this offers is Jeff has an excellent skill set in terms of helping students that sometimes have behavioral challenges and dealing with inappropriate behavior. And if we have John over here in central office working on the software and some of the finance, he won't get pulled for that as much because Jeff would be available to do that. So that is another piece that we're looking at here, and a place to start to test the waters in terms of a district partnership with Hanover. So we have been in conversations with Hanover for a lot of the spring. I have another one coming up to see if we can make all of this work. And as you know, when we have the Tuck Fellow next year, one of her areas of key focus is going to be how can we work with partnerships and particularly with Hanover. So then I'm sorry, my voice sometimes doesn't behave the way it should. Another piece that we're looking at that's connected to all of this, if we are potentially going down one Spanish teacher and one sped role and bringing Jeff into the building full-time, we want to be sure that we're not losing flexibility with our ability to schedule students. And so what we are also proposing is that we move our art and design lab teachers from 0.8 to 1.0. That will give us a lot more flexibility in the schedule, allow us to schedule special education in a more efficient way. Both of these areas as well are deeply connected to our strategic plan and project-based learning. Both art and design lab are strong partners with classroom teachers in making that happen. And so there's a lot of wins and potentially shorter dollars to do that than to try to force, for example, a Spanish position in where we're not comfortable with the quality of instruction that a teacher can provide. Overall, as again, work in progress, we are anticipating that this will probably be a net positive financial gain. There's a lot of pieces to work out, so I would be able to give you more details around that in the fall as all of this shakes out. But these are the conversations we're having. I wanted to make the board aware of all of that, get any feedback that you have as we continue to problem solve the different structural challenges that are out there.
Does John have the bandwidth to take over the
So-
role you need to?
So what we're looking at is that if John's not going to be full-time over here, but he is, and he has already been doing that, is to help out particularly with the database piece of things. So Elise is somebody that we're discussing about what things can she pick up. Jeff is picking up some things that John often gets called away for. So that piece is happening. So what we have said to the faculty and staff and as a team is that we've got some time in the summer where we're gonna sit down and put all this on a map and figure out how to make all of that work. In conversations with faculty, they have shared with us the things that worry them the most and what they wanna be sure of that we cover. But when we look at all the different options, this feels like a pathway that can get to a more permanent solution instead of, of like band-aiding the problem for a year. So
Right.
that's kind of where it's coming from.
If, I understand there's a lot of moving pieces here,
There sure are.
but back of the napkin math, I think this does result in a reduction by at least one FTE. There's a lot of variables to that in terms
Yeah.
of what that FTE costs. But notably in conjunction with your comment, Mary, in terms of bandwidth for John, but also, the amount of institutional knowledge that we'll be needing with Janet. I would personally be in support of starting the recruitment process for the business side early.
I
That way they could
totally
get
agree
in,
with that.
train, learn the ropes, especially, while school's still in session, there's still a lot of volume transactions going on. The policy side's gonna be a large uplift for that. So
No, that's a great point, Fielding, and I would absolutely agree with that, that I'm hoping because of all the pieces here that we are gonna be in a financial position to be able to hire somebody in earlier, and give a pretty substantial transition time. But I would anticipate that will probably be after the first of the year,
Yeah,
yeah.
And they're gonna look at other models as well, I mean, there's
That
a lot
is
of
a-
movement.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, as I've continued to share with the board, I know that there are so many districts right now that are struggling with this position.
I'd say
So,
if we were to pursue that avenue, I would
Right.
suggest
Right.
as early as possible.
yeah, no, I mean, and I think that would likely be the first course of action, right? And then if we run into trouble, we're gonna have to look at other possibilities, but for right now, I think what we wanna do is to try to bring all hands on deck to look at how to make this office function well, so we know who we need to bring in to be able to manage. And I think there are gonna be some ongoing questions about, do we wanna outsource some things? Not,
Well, we've got the tuck student that's gonna be
yeah, like,
working
do
on
we
this
wanna
too,
look
so,
at
I mean, this is
outsourcing,
this is a big
we need
initiative.
to look carefully at those things and to get a sense of exactly what is the job description of whoever we bring in.
I think I have real reservations about John spending a lot of time in SAU. It feels a lot like a DA structure or a light DA structure. And I know that comes in as a huge cost to the staff in the building. We've already heard this rumblings of John is not available to us because he's over here. And I'm sure that what he's providing in terms of value here may be beneficial to the SAU and getting us through this period of time. But I think long-term, I think his best case, and what we hired him for was over there to be student-facing and staff-facing. And I think what I've heard, just a little bit, is that they need that. They need that leadership and that guidance. So I think anytime we take him away, even right now, there is a negative externality that is occurring, an undercurrent. And I think that, this board has been through this, as recently as 2022, where we reviewed the pros and cons of moving people out of school administration into this office. And it's lengthy, it's on board docs, you can see it, we reviewed it and we beat it to death. And at the end of the day, it costs us, any cost savings that we did think we were gonna realize, I think we'd find ourselves exercising, sourcing legal opinions more often. So our legal costs went up, so it was a wash. So I I have concerns about 1 and 3 and how we're reshuffling things. That is, where Jeff moves around to and what Elise is doing, how does that impact the quality of instruction, quality of care they're providing? And, are we really solving problems, or are we just shuffling things around and having to deal with them later on? So, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, excellent. What I would say to that, Jim, is that there is a significant issue here in the SAU office in making sure that this office runs well. And that when this office runs well, everybody benefits, because it serves some really critical goals. And that right now, because of the sophistication of the technology system that's here, and Janet is amazing and knows her stuff. I think she'd be the first person to tell you that technology, complex systems are not her strength. And we now have moved to a new system, and we have to be able to figure out how to best manage that. And it impacts our entire HR system, it impacts, accounts payable, payroll, and all of those things have to happen. And I look around, and there isn't anybody else that I see at this time that has the same level of expertise and knowledge of school finance that John has. I absolutely agree that this is not a long-term sustainable model, but for a year when we try to figure this out, it is a transition year. We're all pitching in, we're all trying to figure out how could this work. But this office has struggled in terms of staffing. Janet is working easily 60 hours a week. She hasn't been able to take vacation. That's not sustainable. And particularly when we go out to try to rehire that position, this has to be a role that somebody is interested in taking on. And when there's a lot of these roles posted, we have to build something here that is going to be marketable to folks. I hear, I've talked with the faculty, I know they worry about John, and I know why. He's great. He does a wonderful job. And we are trying to balance that. We had to pull him over here this recently without a lot of planning, because of some challenges associated with the new system. Over the summer, we've got lots of time to plan, to make sure that we cover things. And in talking with the faculty, one of the things I said to them is, I'm committed to being sure that this is working for you. And I can't tell you that we'll launch it and there won't be any problems. I can probably guarantee there will be, but we'll work it out, right? And we'll keep talking about it, and we'll try to address whatever comes up. Jeff and Elise have been great partners in this and trying to say, all right, I can do this, I can do that. Like I said, we're expanding Amanda's role to try to make this happen. And if you have other thoughts about how we can address this, but right now, John knows our systems, he knows finance, he knows databases, and he has been a team player in terms of saying, all right, let's try to figure this out. But definitely for short term, this is not a sustainable model.
Well, I think just to echo Fielding's point, the sooner we can define the role, market the role, and get it out there, the better.
Yeah, no.
Because we're not gonna find anybody if we're not fishing and looking.
Yeah.
So I have a couple different thoughts on different parts of it. One, in kind of echoing a little bit of the thread that we're hearing already, but I'm very concerned about work-life balance issues for the administrative staff. I am concerned about it always for everyone, but in this particular model, just how are we going to, you theoretically are a part-time superintendent. I don't think you've been part-time since you started. And I am deeply concerned about that. I'm concerned about pulling John away. I also recognize that these issues have to be addressed and we have to have an operating SAU. So I just wanna put that out there that we're thinking about, and I know you are, but I wanna say it for the world. That we're thinking about those work-life balance issues, that we're trying to set boundaries and limits. And to that point, and I know you're also a great communicator, that we're communicating with staff and giving them some predictability for both the staff on the instructional side as well as the SAU staff of, we're gonna plan over the summer, now it's a little chaotic, here's where we're going, and I know that you continue to communicate by just saying that. On the world language side, my biggest concern is simply that, well, I know the market realities are not making it possible, but just that we're thinking about the preparation of our 8th graders for high school. And that is a concern of mine, and it is not up to me to run how that works, but I just want to put that feedback out there that they are prepared to enter Hanover or wherever they're going.
Yeah, and I know that John and Elise and Mo are very, very attentive to that, and have been thinking about that, and they feel like they can come up with a model that works. And there was also a feeling that this program has the greatest viability when it's K-8. So I trust their judgment.
Yeah.
They've thought deeply about this. We are providing Mo some summertime to do some additional work to look at how she might structure some of this, get some early planning done, to try to take that load off of her. That would be someone else that I would want to watch for work-life balance. But she is, like I said, deeply committed, and right now they are feeling like they can make this work.
2 more comments. One is, sorry, I wrote them all down. And I think Fielding got to part of it, that the general calculation back of the napkin is, or back of the envelope is about 1 FTE down as opposed to gain. But if you can come back at the retreat on September 2nd with more clarity of where we ended up.
Exactly, yeah.
And also I'd like to understand where we're ending up, administration versus instructional staff, or everybody else, however we count that staff. So if you can get back to us. And then the final thing, I think it's a wonderful project for our Tuck Fellow to be thinking about partnerships. I think it's imperative that we start thinking about that, given the challenges that we've got with staffing, in administrative, particularly the business management section. It's our part of the world. I do want to keep in mind, and this feels a little bit like ancient history now because it was before my kids were here, but you know, at one point we had a partnership with Hanover and it was not successful. And so that respecting the history and finding out why it wasn't successful and where are the limits, where are the boundaries of that, I think would be important for Lizzie to understand, but also all of us to remember that, you know, I don't want to say we did that once and we never can do it again because it didn't work, but at the same time we should learn from what is there and not. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I forgot all my questions. I'll start with the world language, because that's on my mind. I also feel very strongly that I would not want to compromise a robust middle school Spanish program to stretch it too thin, K-8, and because then you don't probably have the benefit of the frequency that at the younger age it would help them, and so I would just share that. That would be my concern as well, that you water down the middle school. And I feel that's a little more critical, I think, than the elementary. With the special education piece, so the LEA at the meetings would be like the high schoolers?
For the high school, the current conversations, and again, this is all a work in progress, we sat down with the attorney and said, what would this work? And one of the questions that came up is you know, for most cases, it is, they're pretty much running it anyways. But if there's a situation in which we feel like Lyme would be not in conflict, but there might be different values that we're looking at, then what the attorney suggested that we do is put in language that if either side feels like there would be a conflict, that we would assign an LEA to that case. So a Lyme administrator would become the LEA for that.
And I guess so, would there be a ceasing of looking for the Spanish position since you're increasing the other two positions?
Well, I think the issue related to the Spanish position is that we have a date in June where teachers are coming in and we are building schedules for next year. So it's not like we can keep it open all summer, because once all that starts to get built, it's a problem. So what we were looking at is to wait till the end of this week and see if we get a viable candidate. It's been posted for months now. The other piece that I would say is we are also making an adjustment in special education, and if you remember, one of the things that we talked about with the special education position is that we want to be sure when we schedule services for kids that we do it in a time that's appropriate. When we have a really tight specialist schedule, that's much harder to do. So by increasing the art and the design lab, that gives us a lot more flexibility within the schedule, and at the same time it enables us, both of those individuals work in areas that are incredibly connected to project-based learning. So we achieve it as a strategic plan goal, and we give ourselves more flexibility in order to schedule servicing for special ed students. So regardless of what happens with Spanish, because we're making that adjustment in special ed, I would recommend that we continue to put those two positions back to 1.0.
My only thoughts are, I have concerns anytime I hear about a reduction of staff, knowing how tight a ship is being run. But I also know that there is an appetite in the town for reducing the administrative costs in the SAU side. So I do think there's could potentially be a win-win from a messaging standpoint, provided it's viable, and it does seem like there might be tools now that could automate or use AI to do some of the office stuff that used to be done in a real old school, time-intensive manner. So I think it might be worth investigating this to see if that's an administrative reduction that could stick.
I'd like to say that I love increasing the art and design to 1.0s. It's always rankled me that they weren't full-time. Emily is maybe the third longest serving teacher here. When I've been in the building in a teaching capacity, I see how integrated they are into all of the curriculum, all through the school. Since we're doing project-based learning, it seems like they're, like you say, ideal locus of interaction with all of the curriculum. If I remember correctly, I might not, a lot of concussions now. When HQ was a kindergartner, Tom Harkins had just piloted the lower school Spanish program, and I think he was .8 at that point. He was .8 the whole time he was here. And there was French and Spanish, and I don't think either of those people were full-time employees either in the middle school. So there may have been one full language FTE in the middle school, but it was between two languages. And then when they hired Mo to just do Spanish there, that became 1.8 for the two. next year, the middle school is gonna be down one need for class because HG's giant class will be gone. That's only for a year because then Watson's class goes up, but certainly next year, there would be one less course required for Spanish every day for the middle school. I think, well, if Mo thinks she can do it, I think we should let her do it. And then, as far as John poking his head into the district office, my only concern with that, I've seen how competent he is with technology. The owl didn't work because he wasn't here. My only concern is that that's also the HR department, right? So I worry about having him in proximity to conversations, right? Everybody's smart and everybody's empathic and can, you know, oh, I need to leave. But as part of that like hard line, the HR can't be the principal's office, so it can't be Amanda and it can't be John. Right, so whatever the structure ends up being, that has to be somebody else.
I would anticipate for next year that'll be me.
Okay. Okay. And then, just in general, anybody who's, you know, we have this reduction in FTE. It looks like it's more than one, because we've got 2 positions gone, and we're only increasing 2 positions by 0.2.
No, there's a half position somewhere here.
Well, we've got the two, so it'd be point 2 and point 2, so
Yeah.
0.4 in terms of increasing.
And then Amanda.
We would be increasing Amanda.
Right, I was thinking that.
And
Yeah.
the contract.
That's
On the point
undefined.
two.
But that's weeks in the year, that's not FTE.
It's not FTE, what we're you know, part of the strategy here is just because of our geographical location, it's harder to recruit here.
Yeah,
And so we are looking at, who do we have here that we are not fully tapping?
yeah,
And how can we, because it's always less expensive to increase somebody than to put somebody new on the payroll with benefits and all of those pieces. And we've got some places where I think we've got talent that we can tap. And then this, I wanna continue to reinforce this as a 1-year transition plan. You know, are we gonna have to replace Jansville? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But while we figure out what that could look like, you know, in my conversations with faculty and staff, you know, all right, let's pull together, we don't know, there's a lot of things that we might do a little bit differently, and before we go in and hire, then we're not filling the district administrator position either, because it's unclear exactly what we're gonna need that person to do. I think one of the challenges that we have experienced with that job rotating as often as it has is that there are so many different detailed pieces. And I would give the example again, if you go to Hanover, one person does payroll, one person does AP, one person does HR. Here, it's the same, it's Janet and the other person. And so when you're bringing somebody in, the learning curve has been really challenging to get through. So thinking about how else could we structure this? What do we need? Do we need to bring in that position back? Is there a better way to do that? And while we're trying to figure that out, I'm very grateful to our team that are saying, you know what, let's dig in and try to figure this out.
I would also like to say that I would like everybody who's being asked to do more to make sure that they're not just being asked to do more for no compensation. We need to make sure that whatever changes in workload are addressed financially for everybody. That's what I think.
Any other comments?
I think, I mean, Janet would be the one to correct me on this, but I think, Mrs. Officer, was 1.0.
She also taught
Social
social
studies.
studies.
Social studies, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I
half-time.
think Tom Harkins was 1.0. And I thought we had design lab and art at 0.8 because it allowed us flexibility in scheduling.
And it was always a financial thing. It was always a place that they could give for the dollars.
But it gave us flexibility in this.
Actually, you lose
That's-
it because they're not here one day a week, so then all of those classes have to be scheduled.
But that's
in.
how we were sold it back. That was
I wasn't school there.
It's dollars.
Different
I mean, it was,
administration then.
it's been since at least 2017 that Emily's been 0.8. I mean, the whole, it's been 20 years that she's been 0.8, so.
I do wanna say, I really appreciate the structured and organized way you brought this to us. I feel it's easy to understand, it was very clear cut, it's clear you thought about this. And while I think we're asking, I hope, hard questions and good questions.
That's your job.
That said, I feel like I understand what you're proposing very well, and I haven't always felt that, and I appreciate, not from you, just in general as a board member, and I really appreciate the clarity.
Yeah, I would second that.
Thank you all.
Yeah, and I just wanna continue to say, this is a team effort, right? Like, people are putting their heads together and we're trying to solve the problem. But absolutely team effort.
All right, you have the summer authorization.
Yep. Oh, fun detail stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of hiring, one of the things that happens is that sometimes over the summer, we need to make a hire. And so what this, motion does is it allows us to go ahead and appoint and hire people if we need them. And then we would bring anybody that needs to be approved to the board to you, in September. So that you would be authorizing me to do that.
So we need to move that.
I'll move it.
All right,
Second.
Lee and Toby. Second. Questions?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you sort of have this authority in concept, and I know we legally can vote on it, and then they're officially hired, right? But
Yeah,
I see that as more of a rubber stamp.
you know, what the problem is that we can't really, give somebody a contract unless the appropriate authority has said okay. And if we're not, so during the summer when we don't meet,
This gives that
you
authority.
need somebody that would have the appropriate authority. I'm not sure we're gonna need it at all, but when it's there, then I can feel like I'm being honest and fair to that person, saying, yes, I can give you a contract. That's really what you're doing here.
To that end, I would say I trust your judgment in terms of hiring. I would support this.
All right, all those in favor? Okay, unanimous, great, thank you. So we have the lunch pricing memo?
Yeah, and this is just to follow through. We went back through, we didn't see a formal vote.
Oh,
But if you remember from our budget season, one of the things that we did to try to take some of the pressure off the budget and taxpayers is to increase the price of school lunch. That has been an area where the cost of that program has been higher than projected, or it was originally planned for. So we are looking to increase the school lunch prices. This is exactly what was proposed in the budget. But the student lunch would go up to $5.50 and the adult lunch would go up to $6.50. And you as a board have to approve the annual school lunch prices. So I do have a motion in here if you would like to formally do that.
I'll move. Second.
all right, that was Kristen Roth and Lee. Any questions? All those in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you. And obviously, we did the Part B finance report earlier. Are there any committee updates? Do you wanna report out, cause we met?
Yeah, Finance Committee met earlier today, and we just laid out a tentative meeting schedule for the year starting in September, based on projected budget committee meetings and votes and things like that. It will adjust as we get more info.
We just jumped the gun, is what we did.
We did. We did this in September last year, so we are way far ahead.
Yeah, we're right ahead. Alright, we do need to go into non-public. So we are gonna have to put folks in the waiting room, and you guys can choose
So
to,
you're gonna go into non-public and then come back out?
then we come back out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the do I have to name the RSA?
Yeah, there's 3 of them actually.
It's A, E, and K. So you have to,
Is everyone in?
yeah, we have to move everyone into the waiting room, then we go into non-public, so you have
Do we
to,
have to vote
Move
to
to
go
go
into
into
non-public?
non-public.
do we vote it